Welcome to the Reddit files. Here's today's story. Me, 29F, and my landlords, late 30s M&F, child, 9F. Child screams to purposely wake up the tenants. What do? I live in a large 3-story house with my landlords and 2 other tenants. My landlords are a married couple in their late 30s with 2 daughters aged 5 and 9, and they have the basement and first floor. I and another single tenant live on the 2nd floor, and there's another couple on the 3rd floor. It's a really nice living situation, the rent for the neighborhood cannot be beat, and our landlords are great except for this one thing. So before we moved in, the landlords mentioned to us that sometimes the girls get loud, particularly the older one, but you probably won't even hear it unless you're by your door. Given their ages, we figured this meant noise from playing and the occasional tantrum. On questioning the other tenants, they said it's mostly the 9-year-old having tantrums, but it's infrequent. We've been living here for 3 months now and the 9-year-old has a screaming tantrum at least twice per week. She screams with the intent to wake up the house, because she knows it makes her parents embarrassed. I've only ever heard them say things like, "Stop yelling, you'll wake everyone up," and never heard them talk about punishment, although to be fair I couldn't hear everything over the screaming. I've tried casually to bring it up with them, e.g. saying something like, "Wow, that kid can scream," with a chuckle, to which they would say, "OMG, we're so sorry, she's so bad today, we don't know what to do." Personally, I would love to go down there during a screaming episode and have words with the child, but I feel like that would be crossing a huge red line. I gather that as parents, they want to be the only ones making decisions about their children and don't welcome outside input. So I don't want to say something like "you should ground her" or whatever. Also, being mindful of the fact that they are my landlords, I don't want to have too much tension in the household. I really like the place otherwise. So I might be asking the impossible, but what's a good way to bring this up with my landlords, when I feel like they might not be open to the advice/criticism, even though it's neither of those things? I think they would perceive it that way. Top comments. Some people are telling you that this is a parenting issue and therefore none of your business. They are wrong. This is not a parenting issue. It is an issue with your landlords and the quality of your living situation. Yes, they warned you. Yes, they are probably disciplining the child. So freaking what? It needs to stop. You need to address this the way you would any other issue with the property. Don't give them parenting advice. Don't be negative or rude about their child. But be direct. If you have a minute, I would like to discuss the noise level in regards to 9F. It's getting to the point that my frustrations with the situation have me wondering if perhaps this is not the right living situation for me. I appreciate that you warned me when I initially moved in, however this wasn't quite what I was expecting. I'm sure you're doing the best you can and I have no doubt that you are already aware that this is an issue, but I wanted to be upfront with how bothersome this is for me. Or something along those lines. Dancing around the issue or chuckling when you mention it isn't going to solve anything. Dinosaur_train. The solution isn't to be indirect and uncommunicative. Go talk to them. If they can't stop it, then it is time to talk about how to soundproof your quarters. They probably need to stop giving her attention when she screams. It needs to be a non-event. She likes the attention and if she's given none then she'll stop this nonsense. Update. This is an update to my original post. I borrowed the advice of making the conversation not about myself or them, and instead discussing the possibility of soundproofing. I also decided to do it right around 6 a.m. when it was starting so I could sort of catch it in the act. I went down to my landlord's floor and simply said, "Hey guys, just FYI, I can hear that in my apartment as though it's happening right outside my door. I guess the walls are thin and the door is right here by the stairs. You may want to consider some kind of soundproofing for the benefit of future tenants. My lease runs out in a month and I'm not renewing, so didn't bother to ask for it for myself." I was surprised when my landlord said they had no idea I could hear it. Apparently the other building residents, both of whom have lived in my unit, didn't hear it or did but didn't say anything about it. My landlords were also very apologetic and said they were really sorry. The next thing that happened was awesome. The 9-year-old was in the room, sitting facing away and now totally silent. The mother said, "See? Your behavior has consequences and you've disturbed our neighbors. I think you need to turn around and apologize to Porkburp for waking her up." She did not turn around. I wasn't really expecting it. She's shy around the tenants, and her body language really seemed to communicate that she was embarrassed/ashamed. When I came home from work, I had a handwritten letter from the girl where she apologized for disturbing everyone and will try harder next time not to behave like that. I believe every tenant got one of these. I kind of wish her parents had made her apologize to me on the spot, but I'm okay with the letter. This happened a couple weeks ago and so far there's been no further 6 a.m. tantrums, at least that I can hear, anyway. So I think confronting the family was a success. Thanks to Reddit for your advice in the original thread. I also really enjoyed some of the shitposts people feel compelled to leave, they make me laugh. Thanks for the Reddit gold, stranger. Some people have pointed out that a 9-year-old apologizing through a letter as opposed to on the spot isn't so bad considering she's 9, in fact it might be an even bigger punishment because she would have to sit and really think about each letter. That's something I didn't consider, and when it's framed that way, I agree that that's sufficient. Some people also think the original poster was about asking asterisk whether or not to discuss the issue with my landlord, but it was actually about how to bring it up in the most non-offensive way possible. As some people here have mentioned, some parents can be really sensitive to anything that seems like criticism. I wanted to minimize the possibility of them turning around and trying to make this about me versus them, since that's not what it was at all. Thanks for watching the Reddit Files. News stories daily. Hit subscribe so you never miss one.